The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Thursday, the third day of February, 2022. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical Alts One Communications and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. Sherry Vanderpool is out today, and Leanna Lambert will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. We've got to have a conversation this morning, and we're going to have that conversation in a few. And I bet you know what that conversation is going to be. But anyway, good morning, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. Another good one today as Amy Harvey stops by to discuss this year's Bermuda College virtual ROCHE science event. I think I pronounced it right. ROCHE science event. The Daily Play is a name that place. So audience, since Sherry left you hanging, she left you hanging. This is on you to guess today's name that place. Yeah, Sherry said, nope, that kitchen gonna be too hot tomorrow. I don't want any part of it. But honestly, we're about to have a conversation. We're about to have a conversation. And I just want to see how many people in the audience know what that conversation's about to be today. We've got someone in the audience that says, Amanda Blakeney, she says, what were the good parts of slavery, Jamal? Oh, but I'm going to pick the hypocrisy out of that for every last person tuned in. Because if you weren't riding hard with Bermudians Against the Draft, if you weren't out there with Bermudians Against the Draft and Larry Marshall Sr. and the Marshall brothers, Jamal Hartman, and many others that were fighting that, if you weren't out there fighting with us, if you were so enslaved with your thinking at that time, right, to say these young boys need discipline, then you are a part of the problem too. I'm sorry to tell you. Why am I saying you're part of the problem? Because the same arguments used to say that slavery was good were the same damn arguments that black people used to maintain conscription. But because of your hate for black men, you didn't even see it. You didn't even see it. So we're going to have that conversation today, and we're going to have fun with it. So what Amanda Blakeney is talking about, folks, and let's just go. Let me pull it up. Give me a chance. I'm not as young and hip as Leanna, so I have to go through my phone a little slower. So what's happening is there was something on social media, and it's alleged to have taken place that, quote, I'm just quoting from the status. This week, I learned that blank students were asked to write an essay that talks about the better parts of slavery, and now I cannot stop thinking about this. Another one says, this child and his whole year group was taught that one, slavery happened a long time ago. Well, that depends on what you deem long time ago, right? But, an argument can be made that it did happen a long time ago. That's neither here or there, by the way. Number two, it says, not all slave masters were bad. Some threw birthday parties for the slaves. Oh, I'm going to lap this one up. Folks, well, let me continue. Number three, being a slave was better because you got free housing and free food. What is better than freedom? Let me stop there. Bermuda, Black Bermuda. This is what you used to say. Well, black men who were enslaved to a system through conscription used to say, go up there, because you were indoctrinated to believe that it was discipline. Folks, any sort of force against somebody's will who has not committed a crime being that a law that applies to every citizen of the land, it's a form of slavery. It's a form of slavery. It's a form of slavery. So I think Bermuda has a real hypocrisy problem. If you're shouting and screaming about this, and you never screamed about enslavement that was happening, you want to talk a long time ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. You have a hypocrisy problem. You have a problem of looking in the mirror and seeing yourself as a person who allowed this. Because they said, well, at least young men up there, they can get a job, they're getting paid. At least they're getting good food and meals. And get this one, at least they get to travel the world and take trips because they were forced into an environment. But we're not going to focus on that. I just want to call you all hypocrites, which is, if that's where you stand, that's kind of what you are, right? And I make no apologies for that, because there were young men forced into an environment where rape was taking place and assaults, and you all stood by and let it happen because of what you were made to believe. But let's get to this story at hand. So then there's this, let's bring up this response from the institution. And folks, here's what bothers me about the response. A friend of mine, I swear her brain is bigger than the globe itself. Very intelligent lady, Black woman. And she writes the scripts to this stuff, folks. She basically said to me, like clockwork, what will happen is when they come out, they'll apologize and they'll appoint a Black woman who oversees diversity and inclusion, and it'll all be right from there. So said, so done. No, this woman may have been a part of the institution already, but this is like a script, folks. It's like a script. It's like a script. But my concern is these things continue to happen. We see the playbook, we complain, we make noise, and then we go right back to our corners and things continue. Think about it. We spoke about a young man not long ago that was a student at a certain school who looked like on video he assaulted another girl. Are we still making noise about that? A few months ago, we were up in arms making noise about people going up into a local restaurant pub, shooting up the place. Even a police officer getting shot in the process of the double murder. We're still making noise about that. You know, people moaned and complained about Bermudians against the draft. Oh, why don't they shut up? Oh, they're still moaning, just go up the regiment, this and that. We were actually an example of what you all should be. Consistent. When you believe in what you say, rather than being trendy. Trendy meaning it's popular, let's share our opinion and talk about it. No. We were down for the cause. We believed in what we were fighting for. We believed that we were here to bring about difference, change that made the livelihoods of the citizens that we knock shoulder to shoulder with would be better. So this show and what we do on a daily basis, we're here to make our community a better place. And in order to do that, we can't just have conversations when they're trendy. We can't just speak about things when they're popular on social media. We have to continue the conversations. We have to continue the work. And that's why Bermudians Against the Draft from 2005 right through to 2018, when the Bermuda government finally decided to jump on board and do the right thing. That's why we won. Because we stuck by it. We sacrificed. When I say we sacrificed our livelihoods. So instead of getting angry every time something like this happens, what's the plan? What's the strategy? I challenge the Bermudian people. I challenge you. I challenge you to do more than be a trend. Do more than shout when you have an audience. Create a strategy or a plan. And for everyone who disliked what we did and who we were and how we went on about it, my question to you, what have you done? What are you doing? And how is it working out? Let's go to the audience. Sam Cat Play, she says, morning, what am I hearing? What is or was good about slavery? There are people who are still enslaved today. Wow, blown away. Many of our people who write posts on social media are mentally enslaved. You know, that song was Redemption Song? Was it? The lyrics speak to that, right? Shanna Smith says, sad thing is, we have outrage for about 48 hours and then move on. This is what I'm speaking of. Sheikah Rana, she says the entire curriculum is being reviewed. You mean there's more of this in the curriculum? Nicole Walker says, I found no apology in that statement. It came across like, quote, I'm not racist because I have a black friend, end quote. Shaz Wolf says, come on now, challenge yourself. Karen Simmons says there was no apology and the curriculum being reviewed is a reaction to the outrage, not genuine. Revamping to appease, not for growth, learning, and development. Well, let's speak to that. Let's bring it up. Let's speak to what this is being attributed to the head of school. Is it Darren Lavelle? So on February 2nd, a letter addressed to the soldiers community says, we understand that there is a message being circulated in the community about a humanities assignment that was taught at Soltis Middle School last semester. Soltis is committed to fostering a diverse, open, and inclusive educational environment that actively seeks to confront systemic racism and discrimination throughout growth, learning, and dialogue. We are taking the concerns from our community very seriously. Our teachers have examined the unit and coursework in question to rework, clarify, and improve the content and focus. We are working with Dr. Renee Butterfield, an expert in culturally responsive practices and racial equity, to further review our coursework to ensure new perspectives are incorporated and biases or space for misinterpretations are addressed and corrected. Dr. Butterfield will also work with our students and teachers to review our humanities units together and ensure they meet our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Racism has no place at Soltis. We believe that growth and learning can only come from interaction among people with different experiences and worldviews. As part of our ongoing diversity and inclusion work, we are listening, learning, and taking action to deepen confidence and trust within our community while cultivating a dynamic learning environment that inspires our students to lead us to a more just, fair, and sustainable world. Thank you, as always, for your continued support. Sincerely, Darren Lavelle, head of school. Here's my question to the audience today. Here's my question. What are your thoughts on the school and the better parts of slavery? What are your thoughts on this overall? Because I've shared mine. I have a lot of problems with this. A lot of problems with this. Number one is there are people within our community, some who are complaining about this today, who defended this same kind of behavior very recently, right? That's number one. Number two is I'm not quite sure that that response being attributed to the head of school changes anything. I'm not quite sure it changes anything. I'm not quite sure it came across as, you know what, we got this wrong. This should not have taken place. Now, there are people who have said, well, this is what happens when you send your children to private school. I don't think that's the problem at all. It's not a private versus public school. You know, the idea is the system does one thing, and let's have that conversation. This is a systemic problem. The system does one thing as it pertains to Black people, and that is to train you to become employees of them. That's it. Whether you go to Soltis or Cedar Bridge, the system is there to provide and do the same thing. So it's even bothersome when I see people acting like, oh, the history of this institution versus that institution. I think we need to do our history about education, formal education. I think the bigger picture, the greater thing that we should learn from this is that education must take place outside of school as much as it does take place in the institution of learning. That's what I get from this as well. And we must not miss that point. Sean Smith says, this was in Bermuda. What the hell did all the black parents have to say about this? Well, that's a good question, Sean. That's a good question. I would love to know what a parent at that institution had to say about it. But let's not act like, again, the overall objective, the overall goal of a school in this system is the same, be it public or private. So I don't think the idea that's being pushed by certain people of this being a private school is actually the problem. That's not the problem. That's not the problem to me. Now, let's go back to what I said. Again, a friend of mine, she said, "Oh, you know what's going to happen? Come out with the apology, check. Appoint the black woman D&I expert. Now, apparently she's been working with the school longer than this, but check, right? You know, there's a gentleman. He does, I'm not going to say his name, but he's very influential in Bermuda right now in terms of teaching history with tours. I believe he works with Rashida Godwin and them. And he used to always say, there's something about sending our children to others to be educated. And that goes back to the example that I was giving you, folks. That goes back to the example I was giving you. This should be a wake-up call, not to look at where the institutions are going wrong, but where are we going right as parents, as citizens, and as people? Because education should be taking place just as much outside of the classroom as it does in. Let's go to the comment. Sam Cat Place. She says, honestly, Jamal, I just can't. The mental and emotional energy needed on this subject is unreal. The integrity from the situation, from the institution, has always been there, in my opinion. Putting a black face out there to handle this is not enough. Just continue her thought. Kenton Trott says, I completely agree, Jamal Hartman. Sheikha Rana says it's February. Tuition checks have been cashed. We'll see what enrollment looks like in September. I don't think it'll be a change, folks. I don't think it'll be, if anything, it'll probably be going up. I don't think, look, again, let's be honest. Something like this happens, we complain, we make noise, and then we just go right back to normal. It happens. It happens. Like, we cannot look at and act like this is a problem with just that institution. That's what I'm trying to get everyone to consider this morning. It's not about just that institution. It's not. And until we understand that it's not just this institution, then expect this to happen. Maybe expect it to happen. And it may happen at one of your public institutions, which you're probably out there trying to push right now. The point I'm making is, unless we're real about systemic change, then this is just part of what we're going to be experiencing on a regular. But I don't think we want systemic change. We're too comfortable. We don't want to lose what little we have, or to some of us, all that we have. We don't. See, to want systemic change, to fight for systemic change, that is a risk. It's like going on the stock market with no experience and just invest in everything you have. You may win, but you can also lose it all. But unless we develop a sense of true understanding of what it's going to take to bring about systemic change and are willing to risk it all, then this is just going to be a normal part of our everyday living. This is going to be just normal. Tamara Richardson says, it's the first time your child learns of slavery is in school. You need to review things at home. If the only Black/African history your child learns of all races begins with slavery, then again, look in the mirror at the problem. That's my point, Tamara. That's my point. This is an opportunity not to look at the institution and blame them, but to say, you know what? This is why we need to ensure that we're having these conversations outside of the classroom. That's it. Barbara Tannock says, it's a bit large, so I'll read it from the site. Barbara Tannock says, I have a middle schooler at Salters, and she was in this course, run over an entire term, which was taught by a Black Bermudian man. His course presented an excellent opportunity for me as a parent to contextualize slavery to our legacy of today. A huge disservice has been done in that one parent has thrown his interpretation to sorrow what was a powerful experience for the children in that room. And Barbara Tannock, thank you for sharing that, because this is coming from someone who's a parent of a student that was in this course. Thank you for sharing that, Barbara Tannock. Moriel Santucci says, yes, we remain in our comfort zone. Talk about it. Nothing is done. Shigarena says, some schools don't want to include critical race theory in curriculums. Need to teach it at home. Well, again, in the US, they're speaking about critical race theory, which in essence is Black history. And if they don't want to teach it at school, we have opportunities to teach our own. Again, we had Rashida Godwin on just last week, and I stated the majority of stuff that I learned when it came to history and Black history in particular took place pretty much after high school. It took place me being given books from people involved in movements in Bermuda to learn about Bermudian history, right? It took place with me wanting to learn more about who was Marcus Garvey. I had only heard his name in reggae songs, but who was this person? There was a desire lit inside of me. Just a quick note. We actually do, Elin James Barnett says, Bermuda College guest unable to join. No, she's actually backstage. So we will be having the Bermuda College guest coming up, folks. So stick with us for that. Michelle White says, there's no better part of slavery. The mere labeling of the activity of slavery, no matter the context, has negative connotations. Tell it how it is. No sugarcoating. Sean Smith says, Dr. Braun and many others have spoke about systemic racism throughout these institutions and system of colonialism. Let me just go back to what I stated earlier, folks. I see a lot of hypocrisy in all of this throughout social media, throughout private conversations. Because a lot of the people who have an issue with the good parts of slavery were the same people who remain silent or against the idea that we were trying to end a modern day form of slavery in Bermuda. And to this day, still defend it. Why? Because the hate in Bermuda for Black men then and now is so real that we didn't even see the issue with forcing Black men into an environment in the name of community service, how it was a reflection of slavery. So that said, I thank the parent who shared her story about how that one parent took it out of context. But I say this, the lesson in this for me, the lesson in this for all of us could be very simple. As Tamara Richardson said, use it as a learning opportunity to not rely on any institution in this system to be the only teacher for the next generation. There's an opportunity to ensure that children learn beyond the classroom. And for that, I say, folks, stop doing the trendy stuff. Either we get on board and we fight to bring about systemic change, or we accept what we are, noisemakers and nothing more. Let's bring Leanna in. She's got some news for us, I'm sure. Good morning, Lee. How are you?
Good morning, Mal. I am great this morning, feeling rejuvenated and refreshed.
Well, hey, I've got my water here. Hopefully I feel that way after the show. You bringing that energy makes a difference.
Well, glad I could do that for you guys this morning. Ready for the news?
I'm ready for the news. I see you want to skip right past this one. I'm ready for the news. Don't bring me that one. Over to you, Lee.
Let's go. Thanks, Jamal, and good morning to all of you who are tuned in with us today. We hope everyone is having a great start to yet another bright and beautiful morning. I'm Leanna Lambert, and it's time for the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. In today's top stories, two men yesterday denied bringing in more than $61,000 worth of drugs to the island. Now, Wayne DeShields and Daquan Williams, both said to be 25 years of age, pleaded not guilty in magistrate's court to conspiracy to import THC between an unknown date and February 4th last year. Now, they also pleaded not guilty, to conspiracy to import THC, the main active ingredient in cannabis, with intent to supply between an unknown date and March 3rd last year. Mr. DeShields also denied a charge of possession of a knife in Pembroke on February 24th last year. He further denied a charge of possession of a grinder and a scale for drug use in St. George's on the same date. Now, the court was told that 206 grams of THC with an estimated street value of $61,800 was alleged to have been found. Magistrate Kamisi Takumbo adjourned the case until February 28th and released both men who are said to be from St. George's on $5,000 bail each. Now, he also ordered them to surrender their passports and visit Hamilton Police Station twice a week. Well, as we've been discussing this morning, private school Saltus Grammar School was yesterday blasted after it was revealed that the school had required students to write an essay highlighting the quote-unquote better parts of slavery. Now, a status that quickly circulated WhatsApp chat groups stated that middle school year group at the institution were asked to write a humanities essay that talks about the better parts of slavery, which sparked a row on social media platforms, with some commenters demanding that the teacher responsible be fired. Now, responding to the claims, head of school Darren Lavelle said that, quote, Saltus is committed to fostering a diverse, open, and inclusive educational environment that actively seeks to confront systemic racism and discrimination through growth, learning, and dialogue, end quote. Mr. Lavelle went on to say that racism holds no place at Saltus and said that the school will be working with Dr. Renee Butterfield, who is said to be an expert in culturally responsive practices and racial equity, to review the school's coursework and work with students and teachers to review the humanities divisions together and ensure they meet their commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the Bermuda Cricket Board has announced that three local coaches, Shane Hollis, Courtney Trott, and Calvin Waldron, have received their cricket accreditation and elite high performance qualifications through online courses. Now, in 2020, the BCB launched a partnership with global cricket organization Coach Ed that allowed member clubs to enter one person per club, male or female, in the program at a reduced rate. Alan Douglas, BCB High Performance Chairman, said, quote, it is wonderful that we now have three coaches that are qualified, committed, and ready to contribute to push cricket forward, end quote. Taking a look at today's weather, we have a high near 69 and a low near 62 degrees. Today is a cloudy but dry start to the day with a moderate breeze. Now, high pressure builds in from the northeast, bringing a return to fair weather with easing winds. Patchy cloud cover will soon clear to allow brighter skies for today and into the start of the weekend with seasonal temperatures and comfortable humidity levels. Now, expect the return of cloud cover and windy conditions later on Saturday as a front makes its approach from the west. That's all for our daily hour news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. But before we go, we want to leave you with a few helpful tips from your favorite community pharmacists. How can you prevent and treat dry hands? Our trusted pharmacists say use a mild soap, wash your hands under warm water, not hot. Use protected gloves if your hands are frequently underwater, and use hand creams that are emollient, occlusive, and humectant. If you need any help with those last three properties, your People's Pharmacist can help you navigate the myriad of hand creams and find the best for your skin. Your skin is the largest organ, so treat it well. Now let's head back to Jamal in the studio for today's Daily Focus.
Thanks so much for that, Lee. I didn't know they were trying to get the teacher fired, but whatever. Um, real quickly, so today, day of the year, it is the fourth National Women's Physicians Day. So February 3rd, the event celebrates Elizabeth Blackwell's birthday. She was the first female medical doctor in the U.S. It's a time to honor women doctors across the country and the progress they've made since Blackwell's time. Nationally, there are still fewer female doctors than male doctors, but the progress is steady. In 2017, for the first time in history, women made up more than half of those in medical schools. So
Wow.
that is a reflection of the U.S., but interesting. So happy National Women Physicians Day in the U.S.
Yes.
Lee, we'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow.
All right, thanks so much. Okay, folks, we're going to take a quick break. Oops, sorry about that, Lee. We'll take a quick break, and we will be back after this with Amy Harvey from Bermuda College about the Roche Science event. Stick with us.
Are you a small business or organization looking for new ways to reach a greater audience? Well, here's your chance to get your ad on BTG Radio, Good Day Bermuda, and Bermuda's daily talk show, The Daily Hour. Send an email to contact@bermudacommunications.com.
We're featuring a true frequent flyer this month, Bragg Live Food Products. Paul Bragg was the man behind the products, and during his lifetime originated health food stores and promoted nutrition education throughout the media, helping us make healthful choices when we shop for and prepare food. Best known for his live cider vinegar, Bragg also brings us a variety of super nutritious and flavorful foods and condiments. Try the star product that helped launch the entire enterprise, Bragg Raw Unfiltered Apple Cider Vinegar. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
All right, welcome back to the big show. I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day. We've got Amy Harvey from Bermuda College. Amy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. No problem. Glad you can make it. And yeah, I think it's been a year since we last had you on, huh?
Yeah, it rolls around very quickly.
Well, yes, it does. Yes, it does. Time flies when you're having fun in life. But speak to us, like what's going on this year? Tell us, we've got a new speaker this year, Miguel Mejias, right?
Mejias, I think, but I'm not 100. I know I always ask them, please tell me how to say it properly, but I think it's Mejias.
Mejias.
I don't have the accent, but yes, Miguel Mejias.
Yeah, what's interesting, when I was doing some research on his background about Miguel Mejias, who's a guest speaker, not only was he a Bermuda College student, but it would have been easy to do what you done last year. Last year, I remember the focus was on the pandemic, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
This year, you're taking an approach, and I really hope. Look, there are a lot of things I'm not interested in, but I love to learn about. I really hope Bermudians really sign up and learn about this stuff, because his background, and I don't even, forgive me, folks, I can't explain to you what it is, but he's an
ornithologist,
naturalist, conservationist, and he's a doctoral candidate, right?
Yeah,
he's going to be the guest lecturer. Tell us more about why he was chosen and his background.
So, like you said, last year we had decided to approach the impacts of the pandemic on the kind of 3 pillars of sustainability, which are the economy, the environment, and society. And actually this year we considered maybe revisiting that and seeing how we are a year later. But then we all decided as a team, our science team, that we're done with the pandemic and people are just looking for something more hopeful. And what better hope than having one of your students who has come through Bermuda College and is now going to be, defending his dissertation and become a doctor in ornithology. So we just thought that was the most hopeful thing going. So we were really excited that Miguel said yes. He's super passionate about his topic. He's dedicated to Bermuda and conservation of our ecology. You might have read that he was a mentee of Dr. Wingate, who's like the
Yes.
equivalent of David Attenborough, that's how I think of him. So he's just had this rich experience, and he's just super passionate about protecting wildlife in Bermuda, and specifically his bird of study is the white-eyed vireo,
Yeah.
which is
Oh, and that brings me to it. Like, again, it's an interesting topic. I'm actually proud of, because I think people are pandemicked out, right? I
yeah,
do.
agreed.
But from my reading, he's focused on the breeding and the behaviors of them. But why is the study of Bermuda birds so important, and for him to share on this platform?
Well, our ecology and protection of it is important for all of us, right? If we don't have a healthy environment, if the environment's starting to struggle, then we will, as people, struggle too. So, understanding how our ecosystems work, how they're interconnected, studying these particular birds and how they're kind of woven into it helps us to understand the kind of greater picture. And like I said, if our environment is falling apart and we're not conserving it, then we as people will start to as well.
Very true. You never know. Like, I remember when I was young, we would go down through Dutton Avenue through Bernard Park, and we would see frogs, on the road dead. And as I got older, you start to understand how important they were to the environment and so on. And so I'm grateful for the information that's being shared. Speak to us about, um, is it avian photography, and what's the value that it brings in their conservation?
I guess just being able to identify them, it's just a really a good tool. And then you can build up databases for other birders to be able to see what you've, recorded in your area.
Mhm.
So it's just using modern technology. But actually, just as a kind of FYI or fun fact, photography was first used in scientific kind of data collection um, in the 1700s on a Voyager called the HMS Challenger that actually came to Bermuda twice. And they used local experts to help them identify local species. So that was kind of interesting.
Interesting, interesting. If you have any questions or
The
comments
first time I
for
used photography.
Amy regarding the program or Bermuda College, please send them through, and I'll do my best to get through as many as possible. Amy, so I go to, I live in South Florida, and one of the things that we do every now and then, not as much as we used to, go to one of the wetlands, and we see tons of people out with cameras capturing pictures of
Mm,
birds, different
mm.
species, and so on, and their behaviors and so on. But with this, I know Bermuda had something about the wetlands yesterday. They were on what can attendees of this event this year expect to take away? Like, are they going to be have a better understanding of the role they play as humans in the lives of birds? Would they be able to say, you know what, I want to make this a hobby too? What can they expect to take away?
Yeah, a bit of both of those things that you just mentioned. So just learning a bit more about this particular endemic bird, as well as some of the other species that he studies, and just I guess being inspired by his passion, but also, like you say, learning about what can we do as citizens to protect our environment, help be part of the conservation goals of our community, because Bermuda is a very built-up community, and we really need to think about how we protect our open spaces, how we use our open spaces, and not only protect them for the organisms that live there, but also protect them so that we have access to them. And the pandemic has been a really what's the word? It's brought it to light that we really need our open spaces, right? To go out and safely interact with our families and friends, and just go out and have a walk, and improve our own kind of state of being, mental health that day or whatnot. So conservation is going to be really key, I think, coming out of this particular talk.
Mhm. Um, Karen Simmons says, great to hear that Miguel Nieves is the guest speaker at the Roach Science event. Dr. Candidate, he has been talking about birds and their importance since his time at Cedar Bridge Academy. I love to hear it. Went to Cedar Bridge. That's where I went. But this is great to hear. He is one of those people. He followed his passion, and as a doctoral candidate, It's pretty awesome to hear. But who is the ideal person to attend this? Is it someone who is into science, or would it be someone like myself who has no clue, no idea, and watches the people taking pictures of the birds in amazement?
To be honest, I think it's open to everyone, and that's who our audience, our goal of our audience is that it reaches the whole Bermuda public.
Mhm.
And Miguel is so passionate about this topic. He's such a great speaker. We had him actually last year um, as a guest speaker for one of our lunch and learns, celebrating the 70th anniversary of the rediscovery of the cacao. And
Mhm.
he's just so charismatic. He's so engaging. He's so down to earth, and he's really just good at just breaking things down in a simple fashion. So I
Mhm.
think anyone would really enjoy it. It's not going to be super sciencey. I don't think, high level
Mhm.
kind of ornithology talk. I think it's going to be real talk about, the importance of conservation, the excitement around ornithology. And it can be really exciting, especially when you are, engaging with someone like him who's just so into it.
Mhm.
Um, so I think it'll be, like I said, interesting to anyone who cares to have a listen for an hour or so on next Wednesday.
Alrighty. And you know, it's interesting because and we just have to speak about it, obviously, because people are probably tuned in and trying to go to your website. The website is done, but
I know.
where can those interested learn more or sign up for this event at this time?
Yeah, so there's no sign up required. It's virtual because we're trying to stay safe as everyone is. So it's going to be live streamed via our Bermuda College YouTube and Facebook page. The link was supposed to go live today, so hopefully all our IT situations resolve themselves today, and we can have those links live that you can just click on next Wednesday. But they'll become, apparent on our website today, hopefully, if everything sorts itself out. But worst case scenario, next Wednesday at 6:30, if you're interested in listening in live. YouTube and Facebook, our Bermuda College YouTube and Facebook page is where we'll be engaging with Miguel. And like you have here, there'll be questions coming through that we'll be managing so that you can talk directly to him. So hopefully it'll be an engaging experience, and that, the Bermuda public can use to learn more about their environment. And also hopefully it'll be a resource that can be used in schools after the fact.
I love this. So the great thing about this is not your normal Zoom. It's going to be on your YouTube and Facebook. So that means that even if people are not able to be live and engaged, they can always just go back whenever and watch it. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we often see that we get more post views after the fact.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
This
no, it's great.
Yeah, this is great. So I I love the idea. I love what's being done with it. Um, Someone that's watching today, they're saying, you know what, this sounds great. Are you gonna be able to, like, for instance, can people use it? Let's say a classroom. In the beginning of the show, I'm sure you heard we're talking about things being taught in institutions of learning.
Hmm.
Is Bermuda College going to be allowing other schools to maybe use this in the classroom to say, here's this presentation? I know it's on YouTube and people may say, oh, it's free game, but is it something that you're going to encourage from your Roach Science events where they can be used in classrooms a bit later?
Yes, funny you say that because normally we have what we call a demo day, pre-pandemic, and middle school students will come to us and they come through all our labs and get hands-on experience, and it
Mhm.
was super fun. And obviously that all stopped with the pandemic. But last year we put together these lab kits and delivered them to the students. And last year, because we were talking about COVID as our theme, they had like these hand sanitizer kits that they put together, and they had these. They've created their own bacterial cultures and could see what the impacts of hand washing versus non-hand washing, that kind of stuff. But anyways, this year we're going to try and do the same thing, but obviously related to ornithology. So hopefully with Miguel's expertise and help, we're going to put together a lab kit, but more like a field kit,
Mhm.
so that teachers in their own time can take their students out into the environment
Mhm.
and do some birding. So we've ordered some binoculars and some little speakers.
Mhm.
So there's an app that you can put on your phone that basically plays bird calls. So
Mhm.
it'll go through the speaker, and the birds will hopefully come and tweet around you, and you can sketch them and
Mhm.
enjoy them and whatnot. So we're hoping that lab kit will come to fruition in a couple of weeks once everything gets on island, and we can put them together and send them to the middle schools who
This
are
is
interested.
Yeah, this is pretty cool, Amy. It's great. You said post, and this is true for anything post, you usually get a lot more views and so on. What is the overall goal of the Roche Science program? They're like, what is your hope years from now when it comes to this Roche Science program? Obviously, Miguel's a former student. Is it to create an atmosphere where there are more scientists, or what's the overall objective?
Yeah, so just to give you a little history, so Roche was originally Corange, and they're a pharmaceutical company that basically donated us an endowment in, I want to say 1995, but don't quote me on that. And that basically helped us to build state-of-the-art labs at the time. And basically one of the criteria was to encourage science in the community and allow pathways for students to explore these career options outside of the traditional ones that we do have on the island. So yeah, just really trying to inspire science in the community and give students access to all different types of careers within the sciences, whether it's becoming a doctor or nursing or going into marine sciences or studying physics or chemistry. Obviously the spectrum is very broad and wide. And you know, we see here with Miguel, he's really followed his passion. You know, most people might have said, what are you going to do with a career in ornithology? But he's followed it, and he's going to come back and really be part of our community and help with the conservation here. So
alrighty,
amazing.
Sheikha Reyna, she's asking, do students come from overseas for this event? Well, it's virtual, Sheikha, but I mean, if it's in person, you can speak to that.
Yeah, typically it's just local students, but obviously now that it's virtual, it's open to anyone, which is great too.
All right, and I guess from that standpoint, would it be promoted to people outside of Bermuda, if you know, since it's virtual, or is it the focus Bermudian students or Bermudians, period?
Well, I hadn't really thought about it, but it's, you know, we hadn't really marketed it overseas. It's just been kind of local marketing. But yeah, I mean, shoot, if it goes viral, then great, right? The more people that learn about Bermuda, the better.
Absolutely. Amy, again, just remind the audience, when does it take place, and you know, so they can engage live.
Yeah, so please join us on Wednesday the 9th, February 9th, 6:30 on our YouTube or Facebook page, Bermuda College YouTube or Facebook page. It'll be live streamed. You can join in with questions throughout. Our guest lecturer is going to be Miguel Mejias, a local ornithologist who's studying to do his PhD and will be defending his dissertation in the next couple of months. So very exciting to have one of our own come home and be able to share his expertise with us.
Thank you so much, Amy. And despite the challenges, we got it going.
I know we got the resilience. And that's been one thing that I have to say and shout out to all of Bermuda College students, faculty, support staff. They've been so resilient through this whole thing, and we just don't give up. We don't give up on our students, and we just keep going. And actually, can I just take one more second to shout out to our Roche Science Scholars? We have two this year. We have Tasia Trott and Shania Wedderburn. So the Roche endowment also gives scholarships to students. So we have two this year, which is amazing as well.
Congratulations to both of them, folks. Make sure you check it out next Wednesday, right?
Yep, 6:30. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Appreciate it, Amy. Look forward to having you back again.
Thanks so much. Bye.
All right, folks. If you appreciate that conversation with Amy Harvey, you know what to do. Give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share this information as well, folks. We're going to take a quick break, and then you don't want to miss this recap. Trust me. We're going to do a quick recap of the show. We'll be right back.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. with professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security. There's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
All right. Thanks again for tuning in. Thanks again to One Communications, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Again, if you appreciated the conversation today, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. You don't know. We may not be on Facebook one day. So make sure you subscribe to YouTube. And if you haven't already, there's a new giveaway on our website. So you want to go to dailyhour.com where you want to make sure you also subscribe, but go to our website to see what that new giveaway is. It's the easiest giveaway we've ever had. So go to our website, thedailyhour.com, and see what the new giveaway is to be eligible to win it. Check it out. I'm not going to tell you, just got to go to thedailyhour.com to check it out. So look, let's recap today. Folks, there's lessons from everything that happens, everything that we do, everything that we experience in life. And I think when we think about the situation that's allegedly happened at Saltis Grammar School, it's important for us to not just be angry, but to really think deep beyond the surface. Think about, what are some of the positives that we can learn from this? I know, right, you're saying, oh, Jamal, that sounds like, what are some of the positives from slavery, right? Well, to be fair, we use those arguments with conscription. Enslaved people did get room and board. People would say there was no gang fighting or black man shooting black man back then. That's what they would say. But the truth is, this is a learning experience for all of us. It's a learning experience for everyone involved. And my hope is that we all take something from this. We take something that makes us better as a people. One of the things that we can take from it is understanding that education is more than what goes on in an institution of learning. It's something that we must take in our own hands and ensure that we are giving ourselves the opportunity to gain knowledge on our own time. It's not that hard. We've got a daily play for you before we wrap it up with Amy Harvey. Recap on that. It's time for the daily play, brought to you by Heineken 0.0. Great taste, no alcohol. The winner will get a little something. All right. So, audience, are you ready? You've got to tell me yes in the comments. Are you ready? Are you ready? We've got a giveaway for you if you get the correct answer to this question. I'll give you a hint while I wait to see if you're ready. I'll give you a hint as to what the question's going to be about. On Saturday, we'll be celebrating another birthday for the legendary late Bob Marley, and his birthday is February 6th. Yeah, February 6th, 1945. So are you ready? Okay, everyone seems ready. Machika Traveling Trotty says yes. Karen Simmons, yes. Marquita Lee, yes. Mark Arthur C. Phillips, yes. Sheikah Rana, yes. Manuela John, yes. All right, here we go. It's a name that plays today. In what district was Robert Nesta Marley born in Jamaica? What district was he born? What district was Robert Nesta Marley born? Come on, you've got Google time, folks. Let us know. In what district was Robert Nesta Marley born? Come on now. YouTube, you over there? Come on. Nope, it's not Trenchtown. Nope. You've got the parish right, but the district. Shanna Butterfield says St. Anne's. Karen Simmons says St. Anne's. The parish is right. You're right, but what district in that parish? Nope, it's not Kingston Samcat Place. What district? There we go. David Michael R. Wilson said 9 mile. Well, it's 9 mile to be correct. Tarsi Augustus said 9 mile. But yes, it was 9 mile. We're going to give it to David. Michael R. Wilson said 9 mile, but it was 9 mile to be correct. St. Anne Parish, colony of Jamaica. That's where Bob Marley was. What? Tell me something. How's everyone celebrating Bob Marley's birthday? Because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to play some tunes on Saturday. What is your favorite Bob Marley song? Let me know as we wrap it up. What's your favorite Bob Marley song? What is your favorite Bob Marley song? I'm going to tell you, I think my favorite Bob Marley song is a toss-up. Black Man Redemption and Jah Live. There's probably between those two. Those are my favorite Bob Marley songs. What are your favorite Bob? What's your favorite Bob? Three Little Birds. Can't go wrong with that one. Monica Dunstan says Three Little Birds. That's her favorite Bob Marley song. Karen Simmons is on that as well. Three little birds side my doorstep. I'm not. You all didn't pay for that. I'm not going to continue now. You didn't pay for that. I'm not going to do that. Got to pay for that. Redemption song, Manuela John. That's her favorite Bob Marley song. Marquita Lee says Three Little Birds. Sam Cat Play says No Woman, No Cry. Yeah, as a man, I don't think I could have said that and got away with it. Not when you were brought up with old women and you lived with old women. Nope, I'm not taking that risk, folks. No Woman, No Cry, Traveling Trotty. So 6 is the Sunday. Thank you. Well, did I say Saturday the 6th? Well, yeah, his birthday is the 6th. Three Little Birds and No Woman, No Cry. That is coming from Laverne Tucker. Folks, let's wrap it up, though. Let's wrap it up. So, David Michael R. Wilson, make sure you send us an email. You're probably racking up on those mugs, my friend. Tomorrow, another important conversation. We're going to have the guy from Bermuda Football Association coming on, and a very important conversation because they're talking about media rights, folks, media rights. Personally, I didn't think people had that much interest in local football to the point that there was something, media rights was something of interest to maybe sponsors and people. So very interesting conversation, but I'm glad the BFA are looking at ways to evolve finally and generate revenue that can hopefully help the clubs and individuals to reach their potential. So big conversation tomorrow. Thanks again to Amy Harvey. I thought that was a helpful conversation that we could definitely all benefit from. So Bermuda College doing the work, even though not in person, at least through the virtual space. We have, what's that thing called? The Daily Inspiration. So Daily Inspiration for today, it's a quote, belief in oneself and knowing who you are. I mean, that's the foundation for everything great. Jay-Z, or born Sean Carter. All right, that's your daily inspiration for today. Folks, thanks again to our partners, Medical Wellness One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you. We love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamal Hartman. My friends, make it a great and safe day. And make sure you subscribe to our website and go on our website to see what that new giveaway is. It's easy. Check you later.